Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and what we have with us today is a 43-inch 4K TV from Kodak that does not support HDR. And before you go all crazy and say, well, it may not be worth it, we'd like to tell you that the picture performance of this TV is actually pretty decent. Its build is what you'd expect from this price range, but it does falter in a few places. So let's quickly take a look at a detailed review of this 43-inch 4K TV from Kodak. Now, kicking things off with the build and design of the TV, it's all plastic, which is what we'd expect from this price range. But the borders, the bezels of this TV are actually quite glossy, which means if you have a lot of lights in your rooms, or if you have a lot of natural sources of light coming in, the borders of the TV can get reflective, which can be a bummer. The feet are also plastic, which makes it feel really budget, considering we just reviewed a Daiwa TV that had metal feet, which actually kind of gave it a premium build. It would be nice to see a metal construction out here as well, but it has plastic feet. The TV doesn't lift really high from the ground if you place it on a tabletop. So if you are planning to put a soundbar in front of it, you may want to reconsider that positioning, especially if your soundbar is more than 2.5 inches thick. It will come to the bottom of the TV, which could hamper your viewing experience. Now, coming to the picture quality, this TV is actually pretty good. It is not HDR, which means that when you have an HDR TV and you try to play HDR content on it, especially on these budget TVs, a lot of them make the content look a little dark, which is okay if you're going to watch it in a dark room, but if you're going to watch it in daytime, everything is going to look a little dull. We played Rise of the Tomb Raider, for example, which is an HDR game, and on a Xiaomi Full HD HDR TV on which we tested the TV earlier, it looked darker than it should, but out here it actually looks fine because it isn't trying to give you that wider color gamut that comes with HDR. You can play the game in 4K. It is playable, which is nice. Then we also played Doom, which is a 4K game, but it is in SDR, and like we've experienced with Doom on budget TVs before, the indoor sequences where you actually have the industrial setup looks really nice. It's immersive. You can enjoy the game on that. However, when you venture into the red part of the planet Mars, which is the exteriors, you do get this kind of saturated colors, which aren't really that great. We watched a couple of full HD movies as well, including the likes of Spider-Man Homecoming, where the reds and blues of his suit are quite vibrant. There are times when the footage looks a little low res, but that could also be our source of Amazon Prime for the Xbox One X losing a little bit of a resolution. We saw the sequence where he saves the elevator from falling in the Washington Tower, and that was kind of a nice, vibrant experience. Talking about 4K content, when you move on to Netflix, you have things like Daredevil, and when you fire it up, you will not see the HDR tag over there. You will see the 4K tag, which means that the TV does not support HDR, of course, and this is evident when we checked in the settings of the Xbox as well. So 4K TV looks nice. Again, the fight of the stairway fight sequence in Daredevil looks slightly brighter than it does on competing TVs that boast of HDR, which is always a nice touch. Of course, sometimes the blacks may look a little gray if you really know where to look, but that's a trade-off of having a budget TV. So overall, when it comes to picture quality, this TV is actually pretty good for this price point. However, it loses out on other things. So for example, in the ports and connectivity, it has 3 HDMI ports, which is standard, but only one of them is on the side, the other two are the bottom. So if you're going to wall mount this TV, it may be a little inconvenient for you to reach it. Also, there is no ARC on this TV. So if you have a soundbar with ARC, you can't connect that to this TV. If you have a soundbar with ARC through multiple pass-throughs for HDMI ports, you can't do that as well, which is a bummer. When it comes to the user interface, this is running on Android 5.1.1, which is a really old version of Android, and it isn't even Android TV. This is AOSP, which means you get the mobile version of all the apps, and like we've said it 100 times before, we're going to say it again, a mobile version of Netflix on a TV is really not acceptable, especially the kind of quality and resolution that it gives you. YouTube, on the other hand, works. The native YouTube app on this TV works. The UI gives you all recommendations that are off YouTube, so that's nice if that's something that you're looking for. The YouTube app works really well. You can control the playback controls, also the playback controls on the remote control. But we would like to see something different done with the user interface on these budget TVs. You can control settings like brightness, contrast, and things like that if you want to play around with settings to get the perfect image, which is also nice. The TV supports CEC, which means if you, let's say, have a PS4 and you press the PS4 to come on, the TV screen will come on automatically. So CEC is nice on this TV. Speaking of the remote control, it is traditional. It's got the number pad, it's got the volume rocker, it's got the program changer, it's got a couple of smart features, which is you can go home, you can navigate the UI, and you also have some playback controls. But the remote control has a mouse button as well, which doesn't really work as a mouse that we saw on, let's say again, the Daiwa 43-inch TV that we recently reviewed. You actually have to use the navigation buttons to move the mouse around, which can be a little annoying, but it is nice to have the mouse functionality, especially because you need to navigate mobile versions of apps on the TV. So that mouse will really help if you are going to stick with that. So overall, what we'd like to tell you is that this TV has pretty good picture quality for the price. It is 4K and not HDR, which is working in its favor. But the smart features are bleak and well, there is no HDMI ARC, which is a bummer. So there you have it, guys. That was our review of this TV. If you are considering buying a TV in 43-inch size in the 20 to 25,000 price range, then you can definitely consider this one because it has a good panel for picture quality, but it loses out on its smart capabilities. We missed out on audio. So yeah, talking about audio, it has the same standard 20-watt speakers, two 10-watt speakers, one 10-watt speaker on each side. That's 20 watts overall. The speakers are okay if you're going to consume content for everyday news viewing, some TV shows, maybe the occasional movie. But if you want to pack in a thump, you are going to invest a few thousand rupees in an additional soundbar, which you may want to connect through the 3.5mm or other connectivity options because it doesn't support ARC. So there you have it, guys. That was our review of the Kodak 43-inch 4K TV. You can always let us know what you thought of this review in the comment section below. And for more videos like this one, you can subscribe to our channel. We will catch you in another video. It's goodbye for now.
For the latest technology updates, subscribe to Digit.in and don't forget to hit the bell icon.